This is not weird. And look at that
Were
cartoon.
they watching a Felix cartoon? Alright, so the guy gets coerced pretty much instantly into helping her to find out about her mysterious past. So they go to a 7-Eleven
Of course.
to find out about her past. Well, they ask the people around, hey, have you seen a research facility around these parts that had maybe some experimental animal hybrids or something escaping 9 years ago specifically?
Yeah, and of
They
course...
literally asks that.
Yeah, he literally asks the entire question. And they don't get an answer from the old man who runs the shop, but they do get the answer from an old lady who...
Random old lady.
Random old lady who just happened to moved in exactly 9 years ago.
You don't say.
Yes, it's so... The coincidences are just so...
Coincidental?
Yes.
They are coincidental coincidences.
So... It makes you wonder, what type of plot convenience this makes for the characters.
Do you want to find out? Let's continue.
Yeah.
Alright, so first of all, we should point out that they are looking for Rio's mother, who happens to be working at that very facility, or at least we are told so.
Yes, which we forgot to mention earlier was
It was so important, you guys.
Yeah,
that scene was so important.
It was an entire scene to basically show the main characters, the main male character's reasons for being a delinquent is that his father works as a newspaper man. Well, finding scoops on all
which
the news.
never really leads to anything at all. It's completely gratuitous, and
But
you only have the father for that one scene, and never again. Might as well not be in this film.
Yes, he was only in 2 scenes. This scene as well as the flashback scene. But he was there just to basically tell
He was the one who brought the cat home.
Yes, so he was there to also just basically tell the audience that, hey mom, hey there wife, you're not coming home for Rio's birthday? He's 19 now.
Oh, he's 19.
Yeah, I think it was 19.
I could have sworn he was 15. Really.
It was either 15 or 19.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in the slightest
He
because...
still has that stupid freaking unshaved hair on his...
I don't have that. Just be glad I don't have that.
Alright, so they get to the facility.
Yeah.
And they waste some more time of film and audience's patience by going through the most ridiculously sci-fi defensive system ever conceived in a film that's actually not set in the future.
An electric fence! With some lasers.
That, but I was referring, to the security camera system that shoot lasers. She says, Rio, mount on my back. Okay, avoiding this level of, this room, if you will. The screen of the video game might as well be a level full of the camera lasers. And then they get to the next scene. Okay, the door is locked. We need to climb up to the window. Okay, Rio, mount on my back. Next level.
I always find it a bit weird that as soon as they get there, they essentially, not only does Rio get rid of his bike helmet, but he also gets rid of the bike by...
The bike is melted, if you remember.
Yes, it's thrown against the...
Not really,
the electric fence.
Oh yeah, and it catches fire.
Why?
Because it's electric fence!
Yes,
electric fence!
But it makes no sense why he himself would throw the motorcycle into the fence. Just because they might need it still for getting away from places and such. I mean, it's not like they planned ahead for things.
No. By the way, Bagi has a really brief show-off, or showdown if you will, with the canine race, apparently.
Suddenly headlights rise. Yeah.
And she was like...
More like did the eyes.
Oh, the eyes. Oh, yes, the eyes. They will come up later on. Trust me, they will come up later on.
Yeah, the eyes come into play into this moment, but it's only
In a very
briefly.
stupid way.
It's briefly, though.
It's to foreshadow their future use, that is.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, from an editing and storytelling standpoint, it's about one of the most sensible things that happen in this film. Yes, the editing also tends to be all over the place, like the way we transition back and forth between present time spaghetti western land and past time environmentally friendly science fiction schlock.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Like, for example, okay, so they break a window to enter inside the building, right? We transition back we cut back, as it were, to spaghetti western world.
Yeah, just after seeing a gorilla's head attached to pipes.
What the hell? What the actual hell? That's a thing that happened. And then we cut immediately back to
Spaghetti western.
to science fiction world,
Yeah.
the past, by way of the screen breaking like the window that just broke.
Yeah.
That doesn't look as well as you might think.
No. It looks a bit jarring.
Jarring indeed. Like the tone of this game. I mean, this game might as well be a video game, because next we had the forest level.
Yes, there's
After the level full of animal heads on plates and cyborg animal heads put on cyborg bodies for science! Apparently, we transition to the forest level, and every plant in there is a carnivore killing plant. Every plant it's Audrey 2, essentially. And all the jokes you could make about it.
Yeah, it's hands and tendrils and
it tries to tentacle rape the main character.
The male one.
The male one.
That we got.
For now.
For now.
Wink. Okay.
I wink too.
Wink. Okay. The sun! Sorry.
Nah, it's not
Okay,
that.
so why do the animals get turned into cybernetic monsters? Because this is somehow all part of a very convoluted exposition, of a very convoluted research to make the rice grains like 5 times bigger to feed the world.
Yield bigger rice.
How does severing animals' heads and putting them on cybernetic bodies fit into all this? That's beyond us.
Yes,
It's stupid.
I have no idea how it's connected at all.
There is a diarrhea of exposition later on, added with some sort of wacky visuals a la Tezuka, as he's usually wont to do when it's time to shoehorn some sort of important message in the hammiest way possible. But that doesn't help. Your brain just kind of shuts down because it is too long and too idiotic.
Yeah, because you're too busy thinking about beforehand with all the animals and how does it connect to food? Because
well, they use animals to test the food. That makes sense, I guess.
That makes sense, yes.
Why do you sever their heads and put them on robotic bodies? For that matter, why would you make animal-human hybrids like Bagi? Why? 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 I just needed to ask. Hold on.
Why indeed?
That was necessary, by the way.
Very necessary.
So after the forest level, I guess the security has been alerted and it's now Metal Gear Solid.
That's true, actually. It is Metal Gear Solid. Because, well, they set off the alarm instantly, essentially.
Okay, so they get to the scientist leader and...
President, as they call him?
Director of the facility, if you wish.
Yeah, I mean, that's stretching it a bit.
He looks like the weirdest hybrid, speaking of science going wrong, the weirdest hybrid, genetic hybrid, between J. Jonah Jameson and Albert Einstein. To make the most stereotypical mad scientist you could possibly imagine.
Yes.
And that is the one who delivers the diarrhea of exposition we hinted before.
Yeah, and it seriously is a bit of a wacky design for a...
Well, Tezuka is all into wacky designs, and you've seen all these other characters.
Yes, I have. I've seen some of his works.
We get to see Hameg making a cameo later on, for example, or the
Yeah.
candle head guy,
Yeah, those.
who has a recurring joke about a candle appearing on his head because
Yeah.
his head is shaped like a candle holding
Yeah, the
device.
candle holder.
the candle holder device. We also see a lot of that random pig that always seems to show up as a cameo in Tezuka's productions.
Yeah, it pops up every so often. Twice I counted in the entire
One in the
thing.
flashback.
One
I
in the
think.
flashback involving the father cooking dinner, and one during an action scene with a scientist
It
later
wasn't
on.
in the flashback. It was in the scene, the pointless scene of the father cooking dinner, which was not happening in the flashback. Oh wait, you're referring about the regular flashback.
Yes, the first flashback.
You mean the current timeline as it is now, not the flashback within the flashback.
No. I'm
This
talking about
is
the
getting a bit confusing. Can you see? Can you notice how confused we can get?
yes.
So, I would like to point out that by this point, we started off as a spaghetti western, which became a horror slasher film from the 80s, which became a
Awkward romance with
furry romance, which became a sci-fi schlock with all it entails, which became a video game and finally Metal Gear Solid with added tentacle rape hentai in it. Do you see the problem with the tone and the consistency of this film? It's all over the place.
Yeah, there's really nothing to
Hold it together. so to speak.
hold it together.
We just
at
have
all.
a scene for the sake of having a scene to pad out the length of the film. Then we jump to the next one, which is only loosely connected with the previous one by way of its main characters just passing through it.
Yeah. So basically, after the explanation from the president about all that science mumbo jumbo that Tezuka wants you to swallow.
Which, when we somehow get to learn that his mother is not working on the facility anymore,
Yeah.
she's been sent to a country in South America to work on a new facility for the same exact research, which is no longer A, for the government, and B, it's for a country that's not Japan,
Yeah,
which is
Monaco,
the
I
same
believe.
point as the first one, but it's worth remembering because she was working for the government as a scientist, and she gets transferred into another facility to work for another government altogether. It doesn't work like that. And then there is the second problem.
Yeah.
Nobody notified the family that she's been moved to South America. Nobody notified the father or the son or anybody who knows her that she's been moved to South America. Not even herself. What's going on?
It's not very well thought out in that
It
regard.
makes no sense. It makes no sense. So anyway, Bagi is a scanner.
Yes, she's a scanner.
Yeah.
We find that out instantly from this one scene where basically apparently she is a hybrid of a mountain lion and a human, or something along those lines.
Red 13 was very busy that day.
Oh boy.
She's a scanner, and I guess she uses the force to compel the guy to act like an idiot.
Yeah, she uses her eye power, essentially, of static
Yeah, she
colours.
uses the power of TV static eyes, literally. It's just TV static in those eyes.
And basically what this does is it controls the person that's under the hypnosis, so to speak, that she puts them under.
So she thinks, you know what would be a good idea right now? Have the guy write a letter, okay?
Yes.
To tell a mother scientist to expect a new specimen for experimentation to South America,
Which is her.
which is her, and she's sending her son too.
Yes.
And she's making him write that her son is coming too,
Yes.
because she's deciding he's on his behalf, like all good friends do.
Well, all love interests do too.
So, yes, this was all. We have to believe this was all on the spur of the moment, because she says so.
Yeah. I mean, if you also think about it, why would you send yourself to the person whose highest solution, idea of a solution is, let's kill animals?
Is it a kind of dream floating out on the tide, following the river of death downstream?
hold on, before this scene is even over, we get invaded by clips from the next scene, when the plane they are taking gets very abruptly spliced in editing with the scene that's yet to finish. Which is not very good to look at.
No, it's not. It's not very coherent.
And you know what else is funny to me?
What?
Is that they actually take this plane not expecting retaliation from the scientist they just hypnotized, because clearly they let him live. And guess what happens? He must have sent somebody to kill them.
Well, it makes sense if you carry 6 guns and that doesn't work.
Oh yeah, he had this ridiculous amounts of guns in his drawer, which is not physically possible, and he holds them all in his arms pit, and
he does this, like, going like, I'm gonna kill you all with all 6 of my guns, despite the fact I can only pull 2 of the triggers. It's like that.
It's like that.
It's like a monstrosity of guns.
It's ridiculous. Who is the real scientific failure here? The real hybrid, you know? A hybrid between a man and a gun, I guess.
Well, if it worked for Wolfenstein zombies.
Right, so we are on the plane, and guess who's back? Back again. Audrey too, from the forest level, comes back from a briefcase and tries to murder, rape, / choke and strangle Bagi. The right one this time around.
Yes, the one that everyone expects to get the tentacle bindings.
And I think Tezuka has accidentally anticipated 20 years worth of pornography in Japan.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. More innocent times.
Yes,
more innocent
times the 80s were.
You could not imagine what some of the stuff you could come up with at the time could be inspired certain people in such ways. And I bet there is a ton of artwork of that very specific scene on the internet if I would bother to look it up.
I would recommend no.
I would rather not as well.
I mean, well, I know we'll send some to Ross as a present. I'm sure Ross will love it.
I think you might be one of the only ones who can appreciate it. So, stabbing Ross aside.
Yeah.
So, I guess one of the bad guys on the plane just pulls the old lever switcheroo, if you will, and opens up the freaking department of the wheels of the plane, sending our heroes tumbling down to their soon-to-be death.
Which is like,
and also the entire plane, because that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, because decompressurizes the entire plane doing that.
Yes, brilliant idea, pal. So anyway, before dying, or I should say instead of dying, I like the fact that Rio is able to determine the perfect exact distance from his spot in midair and the Earth.
He's like, 700 meters, 600, 500.
He's like a creepypasta main character. He's able to give us exact, precise numbers of anything.
Yeah, which is a bit ridiculous in that regard, because it has several moments like that where basically the main character is able to deduce the correct distance that anything is visually. I can't even do that, and I struggle with that.
So instead of dying,
yes,
Bagi MacGyvers herself a makeshift parachute in the middle of falling.
Yeah, with a bit of cloth and some of the tendrils that were cut up by, well, bashed. Because it's less cutting and more like he bashed the plants earlier. Yeah, well.
Oh wait, no, he bashed the plant with a metal pipe.
She did.
She used the actual hands of Audrey too, to what's the word I'm looking for? Grab the extremities of the cloth they fell with, and apparently that was enough to make a parachute out of it. The science of that! Science is bad! Science!
Unless it saves you. Then it's still bad, though. Maybe.
You know, if you freeze the frame just at the right moment, you can have a clear view over... So after they inexplicably land safely in the jungle of the Republic of Monica, as it is called, we have this scene.
どう？リョウが寝ている間に鳥の羽で作ったの。
This scene. This scene. Out of everything about Bagi, this is the only scene that has stuck with me for some strange reason.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yes, because she says that she made it from feathers. No, none of that.
You see what I mean? It's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, we are supposed to buy into this budding romance that they're growing, but it really comes off as awkward as all heck, given both the circumstances and sadly given the fact that she's a tall, anthropomorphic cat. I'm sorry, that has to be pointed out as many times as possible.
Yeah.
It's hard to get invested, you have to really disbelieve your suspension.
Yeah.
I should say suspend your disbelief as much as possible. The film does not make it easy because of how awkward the editing and the pacing and the tone of everything is.
It definitely doesn't help matters with making a believable romance, essentially.
No,
Because
but it makes for excellent riffing material.
Yeah, it certainly does, I think. But like I said, though, she's wearing this thing that's made of feathers, but I don't buy the wig being made of feathers.
I guess might have been of leaves or I don't know, some sort of, the Tarzan style
I just realized.
threads, jungle stuff.
Why?
What?
I just realized. Why are we stuck on this scene?
First she licks him,
Which
then she does her aerobic dancing, I guess,
is probably a mating dance in her version in her head.
and then we just summarized that whole exchange to you. It's supposed to get us more invested in their romance, in their budding relationship, which will make the upcoming episodes far more dramatic in that regard, but it only enhances the awkwardness of how much everything about this relationship doesn't really work.
Yeah.
He was coerced into this, forgotten that she had killed his
Buddies.
crew, essentially, and she's all like, I like you because I like you. I mean, technically, she was the pet animal, they spent time together, but I don't really see that chemistry.
No.
I don't see it.
The chemistry's not there. It definitely feels like as if there's vital points of this development that has been left on the cutting room floor, essentially, or has not been conceived enough to make this work.
No. Well, it's not like they didn't have any time to do so. The film is 90 minutes long, essentially. But no, they had to pad it out with forest levels and killing random animals and the lightsaber lighter.
Oh yeah,
Remember that one?
We forgot to mention that, but there's a lightsaber lighter in this, and basically it's used to cut things and cut fish.
Right at the beginning, in fact. It is used once more at the end. It's never explained when it comes from. It's just there for the sake of being there. Why the hell not?
And we're talking about romances, and I'm reminded heavily of that one animated movie I liked. I forgot what the title of it was. Basically, a college woman falls in love with a college boy, but he turns out to be a werewolf or something, and they have wolf children together.
Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll stop you there.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next scene. Kill the dog. Kill the rabbit. Kill the mouse.
Kill the rabbit.
Kill the deer.
Ow, you shot me in the ass!